What's going on, guys? It is Goalazio here. Welcome back to another FIFA 20 career mode tutorial. Guys, today I am bringing you a video, and this is about a question which I had pop up on my YouTube channel, and I thought this is something really good to consider answering. It is, when do you sell players? When do you actually put them up for transfers? So, of course, we can see this in a variety of different ways, whether it's a youth side, whether they're getting older, whether they were a first team player, now going down into more of a second reserve side type position. So what we're going to do, we're going to address a couple of those things today. But guys, make sure you do hit that like button. Of course, if you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe, because I have brand new videos coming up every other day. And I want to say, make sure you hit that like button. Of course, don't forget to follow me up on Twitter at Goalazio. Anyway, let's go on into the tutorial. Okay guys, so transferring players, when do you do it? So from a youth perspective, my thoughts is the first season you get them, depending what league you're in. So if you are League 2, start them. If not, you loan them out. So loan them out in the first season or two, and if you don't see them growing within 2 seasons, it is time to wave bye-bye. And the reason I say that is because from my experience in career mode, that if you have a really good youth player and he's playing consistent football, he will grow very quickly. So really take that into consideration. I know for a fact now, if I get to my second season, that we haven't got much hope for the player. Anyway, that's the youth side of things. Now moving on to the kind of the creme de la creme of this actual video. And then of course about the players that you sign in. What do you do? When do you actually transfer them? So my first comments on this, guys, is to actually sort out their contract to actually begin with. So if you're in that position where you're like, oh, I don't know if I can actually play them, do I sell them, or what do I do? Your first instance is, if you've actually brought in a couple of players which are ahead of them, really consider renegotiating their contract. So that will kind of get you the opportunity to kind of free up their critical role, which they could have potentially been on, and to actually put them more down into a second choice type role or reserve type role for the actual side. So make sure you really consider doing that first, because your opportunity there is to actually save money, as well as rather than having an headache as a manager to actually try and be like, I need to play him. Once you've done that and you've played another season, you're like, oh, he's still not there, he's still not really getting into the second side, let alone the first team. This is where you really consider actually selling them. So a couple of things to actually take into consideration is their rating. So I do look at their rating. Have they grown over the last couple of months? Yes or no? Is that my fault because they are not playing? Or is it just the fact that they're really not growing at all? So I've loaned players out and they haven't grown. So I'm like, okay, it's time to wave bye-bye. Also as well, take into consideration their age. So when usually, even though we do have dynamic potential in, players' ratings do still drop. So what you need to take into consideration, if you are playing a player week in, week out, and you see, oh, the rating is dropped by 1, that's an opportunity for you to actually sell it. Because if you was going to do it from an age perspective, I would honestly push it around 28, 29 is your position to actually sell. And the reason I say that is because if you sign on another long-term contract, they probably retire at the end of that contract, when around 32, 34, and they will retire. But anything after that, if you try to sell them, they've gone past their peak. They've gone past their peak price tag. So there's really no point in selling them. They're just on the downhill and not going to reach maximum profit, which is really what you want to do. So if you have a prime player in your side and he is around 28 or so, really take consideration of actually selling them. Of course, you want to make sure you have another player in there before you actually do this, but add them to the transfer list, because that is probably the peak price tag, if they have reached their potential, that you're going to get for the player. Because usually, sometimes it happens around 26, but I've had players from 26, 27 do fine, but when you get to 28 is when they start going down. So really take in consideration around that point. So if they are around 28 years old, really take in consideration of actually selling them. So guys, that was quick tips. Let me summarize that very quickly for you. So if you have a youth side of things, give them 2 seasons. So you loan them out, you play them in your side. How are they growing? Are they growing well enough or not? Because I've had players who come into my side as a youth who have come in late and grown quicker than someone who's been in there longer. So really take that in consideration of whether to sell a youth player. Now to the main squad situation, from an age perspective, you need to consider 28. That's where you're going to be having your peak selling price tag. So you don't particularly want to go any later than that because they could potentially retire and the rating and the value will potentially drop. So that's where the peak has been for me. In another situation is that you need to determine whether you're actually playing them in that scenario. So like I said, lower their contract, see if they're still not playing, sell them on. So that doesn't matter on whatever age it is. But guys, I want to say thanks for watching. I hope you all did enjoy the video. Of course, this was a very quick, nice tutorial to help you out with when to actually sell players. I think this is kind of a question which we're all a little bit unsure on. But we do have that. I want to bring that for you guys today from my experience on this game. But anyway, thanks for watching. My name is Goalazio. Make sure to hit that like button. Of course, don't forget to subscribe so you do not miss a single video from me. But anyway, my name is Goalazio, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.